Hello everyone, welcome back to Bleed Electrical. This is course on energy management and audit, and I'm Triveli Naidu from the Department of Electrical Engineering at St. Vincent Pallotti College of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur. In the previous video, we have discussed about system and its types, the processes and its types, and obviously we have discussed about the need of calculating or performing energy balance and material balance. Now we have come up with this new video on what is this energy balance and material balance actually. So let us understand mass and energy balance. Now, let us take an example. In an industry, what are we actually doing? We are providing the raw material and energy to a certain operational unit. So, let us say we are providing raw materials like MR1. So, we are letting this the mass as M stands for mass, MR that is raw material 1, MR2, MR3. So, all these three are being fed to the unit operation. Then energy in the form of heat, work or chemical or electrical could be fed to the unit operation. So we are taking it as ER1, ER2, ER3. We are providing it to the unit operation. Now there has to be certain stored material inside the unit operation. So let us assume to be MS1, MS2, MS3, and let the stored energy be ES1, ES2 and ES3. So what you will get as an result or an output? You get products. So you get products out. So let us say it is MP1, MP2, MP3. Now likewise you will get waste products also. So MW1, MW2, MW3. Then likewise there will be energy given out also. So energy in products would be EP1, EP2, EP3. Then energy could be wasted also. So energy in waste material could be EW1, EW2, EW3. And finally the energy could be lost to the surroundings. So energy losses to the surroundings could be EL1, EL2, EL3. Now let's understand what exactly is meant by this mass and energy balance and how do we prepare the formula for mass and energy balance. We as an electrical engineer have already studied about Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff voltage law, which used to state the law of conservation of charges. That is, the incoming current was equal to the outgoing current. Now, so in simple terms, if you want to understand this mass and energy balance, it is nothing but the mass that is going inside must come outside the system, and the energy that is being fed to the unit operation must come in the equivalent manner outside the system. So that is what we are balancing, this mass and energy. So let us see. Now the law of conservation of mass leads to what is known as mass or material balance. So mass in should be equal to mass out plus mass stored. So how can you write it as raw materials is equal to products plus waste plus stored materials. What did we assume? We assumed summation of all MR should be equal to summation of all MP plus summation of MW summation of MS. R for raw material, P for products, W for waste products, S for stored elements. Okay, then sigma indicates the summation of all the masses. So this is how you write. So if I talk only about summation of MR, then it is comprising of MR1, MR2, MR3, that is the total raw material. If I talk of MP, then it is the summation of all the total products. Then if I talk about MW, it is all the total of MW1, MW2, MW3, that is the total waste products. Then if I talk about the stored elements, then it could be the total stored products. So this is how you need to prepare the formula for mass balance. So if there is no chemical change occurring in a plant, the law of conservation of mass will apply also to each components. So let's say for example, if I'm talking about a component A, then all the elements that has been entering the component A in the material is equal to the material in A in the existing material plus MA stored in the plant. So if I'm talking about any component, let's say for example A, then that what is existing and then what is stored in the plant has to be added along. Okay, so this is how you prepare the formula for calculating the mass balance. Now, just as mass, we can talk about energy. So, energy in is equal to energy out plus energy stored. So, how can you describe this? Summation of all the raw material plus summation of energy at the products, energy at the waste, then loss to the surroundings plus energy that is stored. So, this is how you make the formula for energy balance, where summation of ER means energy entering, then summation of EP means energy living with the products, then W means waste products, energy living with the waste products, then EL all the total energy that has been lost to the surroundings, and ES that is the energy that is being stored. So energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but instead it can be converted from one form to another. So that is what is here happening, and we are considering this formula as energy in should be equal to energy out and plus energy stored, because energy cannot be created nor be destroyed, it has to be intact, so we are keeping it at as intact. So this is what is energy balance. Now talking about the Sankey diagram and its use. Sankey diagram is a very important method of representing this energy flow in this management system. Now, energy management system, we are having different types of diagrams, but this Sankey diagrams is a useful tool to represent an entire input and output energy flow in energy equipment or systems such as boiler generation, fired heaters, furnaces, after carrying out the energy balance calculations. Okay, so this diagram gives you all the outputs, the losses of energy, so that energy managers can find out immediately by looking at this diagram that how much of loss is taking place where, and what is the profit that you're generating from a certain unit. Okay, because if you find out the losses, you'll be able to judge or comment on the energy scenario of your unit. So this is the simplest way of expressing various components of input and the output. So let's understand with the help of one example. So I'm taking the energy balance diagram for a reheating furnace. So let's see. So it is clear that exhaust flue gas losses are the key area of priority attention. Okay, now let's first understand this. This is a furnace, okay, let's say this is a furnace, but the heat escaping will be of great loss to us, because if this heat escapes as a loss, so we won't be able to access this heat in useful work or in generating the electricity, we can say, and we will have wastage of energy plus wastage of money in that case. Okay, so we want to utilize this energy, we don't want to give up on this energy, so we are using a air preheater. Okay, so now the useful output is only 30 to 60% because there is a lot of wastage. Okay, now I'm using this air preheater, let us say this is an air preheater. What does this do? It will utilize or recycle this energy, it won't allow it to go or escape via chimney, and it will recycle this energy back to the furnace. So recycled energy is 10 to 30%. So this is how you describe via Sankey diagram, it represents the energy flow. Okay, like we have seen, there was the minimum output was useful output was 30 to 60%. Now with the help of an air preheater, this energy is getting recycled as 10 to 30% with the help of this air preheater. So then you can understand what are the losses. Then in walls there are 3 to 10 percentage of losses. Then if we talk about the opening losses, it is 1 to 2% of losses. Then if we talk of the cooling losses, it is 3 to 10%, and stored heat is about 2 to 5%. So this is the recovered heat input. So Sankey diagram is a wonderful way of representing all the energy flow into a system. So since furnaces operate at high temperature, the exhaust gases leave at high temperature with poor efficiency. So we are using a air preheater, as I told you before. This will increase or enhance the efficiency of the furnace. So this is how you represent. Now if I'm an energy manager and I'm seeing to this diagram, then I say okay, that means there was an effectiveness increased using this particular method of adding a air preheater, and what all amount of losses are here. So I'll have to work on it or not. Okay, so is it inefficient or not? Everything I'll be able to predict with the help of this Sankey diagram. So now material balance. Material balance or mass balance is an application of conservation of mass to the analysis of physical systems, as we have discussed before. By the conservation of mass, either that leave the system or accumulate within the system. So we have to basically keep a check on these three things: material in, that is the input material, then materials that are going out, and then the materials that are stored. Okay, then the material in each category have to be considered, whether they are to be treated as a whole or as a gross mass balance, or whether various constituents should be treated separately, and if so, what constituent should be treated separately. So this is what we have to do. Now, levels of material balance. What are these different levels of material balance on which we can do this analysis? So it could be overall material balance. The overall material balance involves the input and output streams for the complete plant. Okay, it is overall. Okay, completely. Then secondly, section wise material balance, in which there has to be certain sections or departments or cost centers according to which we'll carry out the material balance. Then thirdly, the equipment wise material balance. In that case, we'll check on these equipments and assess their performance, and we would be able to identify the energy and material losses in different equipment. So these are the basic levels of material balance. That's all for this video. For more topics on this subject, keep watching. Thank you.